you can see it later on. Today, we're doing lesson 1.1 functions. As you can see up at the top of the screen, we are looking at functions today. Make sure first and foremost you take your attendance. So the attendance is that QR code on the left. The YouTube QR code in the middle of the screen will help you with filling out the lesson and all that. But the attendance is really vital. You can take that.
I'm in the emergency room right now. I won't be able to take the attendance because I'm using my phone.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everything's okay. Again, all right. So like I was saying,
I have to leave.
What we're going to do is I want you to take that attendance link, and if you in the chat, if it's not clickable, just copy it and paste it, or go through Power School Learning, which I'm going to send you the link to that. I can send it through Remind as well. Maybe that'll work better. But you need to take the attendance. What I'm going to do here, though, to honor the people's time who've already done that, is I'm going to start going over the math. The attendance is no rush. I can fix that later on. Okay, so let's start going over how will we do the bell ringer. The number one mistake I see students make when they get a question like number 1 or number 2, where it's asking us to simplify a rational equation, which just means a fraction type equation. And students usually try to do something like that. They say, oh, I have a 2x squared in the numerator. I have a 2x squared in the denominator. I can cancel those out. The problem is that's really bad math. If we were taking a test in this class, I would do that and have an answer choice that looks something like this as a distractor, something to try to get you to choose the wrong answer. I would do that, but that's not going to be correct. That would be incorrect. So let's walk through how we would do this correctly. And the walkthrough is basically over last lesson. So here I'm going to help you out. For those of you who are listening right now, I'm going to do 3 of your homework problems, technically a 4th. Now, why do I say technically a 4th? Well, because in your homework, this was your homework from last class. Number 2 said this: what are the steps to X method? And I'm going to write them up right up here for you. The step is first, we look for a GCF. Secondly, we do what I call the X method itself, and part of that is going to be labeling the A, B, and the C. Next, we are going to split the A power. And finally, we'll do what's called bottoms up. Now, if you have Miss Lester, you know what I'm talking about when I say bottoms up. If you don't, this will be something new to you. It's just it's a term I'm stealing from Miss Lester. And so let's work through these problems. So that is your answer to number 2 right there. I've done it for you. Now let's look through number 4, 5, and 6 from 0-3 lesson. That's where this is coming from. This is the 0-3 DOLs right here. So let's start with number 4. And just if you don't know this, if you hold down your space bar on your computer, it'll unmute yourself. And so as I ask questions, I'm just going to ask you to hold down that space bar. If you have a computer, just throw out the answer. The quicker you do that, the quicker we move on. And if you have a cell phone, you'll just have to literally hit the unmute button and then mute it right back. On number 4, as you look at these 3 terms, is there anything, any number or variable that divides into all 3 of these? Yes or no?
No.
No, I agree with that. So we're going to say there's no, what's happening here? Let's try this again. No GCF on number 4. Since there's no GCF, I move on from step 1 to step 2. Now, step 2, we need to label our A. So our A is how many X, the front term of the trinomial. I have 1. My A is 1. My B is -6. And my C is 5. We're going to do an X method where you go A times C in the numerator. Excuse me, not the numerator, the top of the X. B goes on the bottom. We'll look for 2 letters, which I call them M and N in the videos in last class, that multiply to be the top, but add to be the bottom. So let's first start with the top. What is 1 times 5? A times C. What is 1 times 5?
5.
5. And then b goes in the bottom, which that simply is -6. That comes from right here. So now we look for factors of 5 that add up to -6. And so as a technique, if you need, some people, they just do puzzles in their head and they're able to get the answers. Others need a technique. Here's a technique. I'm drawing a little T-chart, and I write out the factors of 5, which there's only one set of factors of 5. It's 1 and 5 like that. And so now you realize, okay, those are my factors. How do I make those factors become a -6? How could we make those become a -6?
-1, -5.
-1, -5. Very good. Now we're going to need more people than one student participating here. The one's giving me the right answer, but we need more people participating. So make sure you're ready to jump in. All right, so now that I have my two terms, I go on to step 3. Now, step 3 said to split the a power. And here's what that means. I'm going to go, and I'll circle it right here. There's my a power, or my a term. It's x to the power of 4. And so I'm going to split that power. What that means is the power of 4 splits. And so if the power of 4 splits, it becomes a squared. And it goes in first place in each parenthesis. So instead of it being x to the power of 4, it splits and becomes x squared. And then you fill in your side numbers from your x method. Now, since a is 1, I don't have to do bottoms up. Bottoms up just means you divide by a. And so as you can see in this one, a is 1. And so doing step 4 would just mean divide by a. And since my a is 1, I divide by 1, and nothing happens. So this is the answer. And the way you would type this in on PowerSchool, so again, I told you I'd give you the answers. To do a power button on PowerSchool, when you type in your answer, you're going to use that caret button, which is just Shift 6. So if you're looking at a keyboard, Shift 6. It's the symbol that is right above the 6 key. That's where that means power. And so you type in your answer like this on PowerSchool. Again, if you're panicking, I'm recording this, and it's going to be on YouTube. It actually already is on YouTube, but I'm recording it again. So that would be your answer to number 4, right there. Now, as I'm assuming you're taking notes and writing this down, I'm going to start erasing from the very start. So let me give you a little bit more time to write the answer. I'm going to erase from where I started. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them out there. It'd be a great time to ask them. No? Okay, am I good to erase the answer?
Yes.
All right. Okay, now let's look at number 5. So we got the answer to number 4. Let's look at number 5. Number 5, do we have a GCF?
No.
No.
All right, I hear 2 no's. Someone speak up when they come up with the yes. The correct answer is yes, there is something in common between all 3 of these. What is it?
X.
X, there it is. Our GCF is X. So step 1 this time, I'm going to divide out an X. So my problem becomes, you put the X in the front, 3x squared plus 11x minus 20. That becomes my new trinomial. So a term is here, a is 3, b is 11, and c is -20. And now I go on to step 2. Step 2 says do X method. So remember, we draw an X, a times c goes up top, b goes in the bottom, and we're going to look for m and n here. And so in our problem, a times c is 3 times -20. So 3 times -20 is going to be a negative number. 3 times -20 is
-60.
negative 60, good. The b value is 11. So let's write, if you need a technique to help you find these terms, the different possibilities, and I'm going off the factors. There's 1 and 60, that can multiply to be 60. I'll get the negative in a little bit, I'm not worried about that yet. There's 2 and 30. There is 3 and 20. There's 4 and 15. 5 goes in 12 times, and there's 6 and 10. I don't think 7 goes into 60. 8 does not go into 60. That's all of them right there. So now out of that combination, you're looking for which one could somehow add and subtract to be 11. So that's what we're doing now. We're looking for the combination of 11. Could 1 and 60 somehow give me 11?
Four and
Could I do
15.
like a, okay, I'm hearing the answer is 4 and 15. The 1 and 60 can't. You even, no matter how you try it, that's not going to give you 11. 2 and 30 can't. 3 and 20 can't. You go down the list here. The best you can do here is 12. Whoops, 12 minus 5, which is 7, or 12 plus 5, which is 17. Either way, you're not getting 11. Only 4 and 15 can get us 11. Okay, now how do I get 11 out of the numbers 4 and 15?
15 and negative.
Negative 4 and 15.
There you go. So 15 and negative 4. So that's my X method. Now I go on to step 3. Step 3 says split the A power. So let's see if we can see the color. Here's my new A. I'm going to take this and I'm going to split it. So I'll have, instead of 3x squared, it becomes an x. You just split the power. So 3x plus 15 and 3x minus 4. That's step 3, split the A power. And now I'm on my last step, bottoms up. Now bottoms up just means you try to divide by the A term. Since A is 3, I'm going to try to divide each parenthesis by 3. And so on this problem, one parenthesis divides and the second does not divide. Which parenthesis can be divided evenly? Which one cannot? Let me ask this way, the front parenthesis. Can 3 go into both 3x and into 15?
Yes.
Yes. On the second parenthesis, can 3 go into 3x and negative 4?
No.
No. So for bottoms up here, bottoms up means if you can divide into it, you do. If it doesn't go in, you leave it alone. Oh, I'm writing the wrong answer. Let's try this again. Okay, 3x divided by 3 is just x. Be x plus 5, and then 3x minus 4. That would be your answer to number 5. Now we've done 2, and I'll do a third with you. So I'll erase this. I'm going to start on the far left to give you time to write down the answer. Again, this is all going to be placed on YouTube. So if you have any questions, you can go to the YouTube and check it out from there. Or you can speak up and ask, but if you're not comfortable asking questions on Zoom, you can do it that way. Let's jump to number 6. All right, GCF. Do we have a GCF? Oops, pencil. GCF on number 6?
No, we don't.
I hear 2. I agree. The GCF is 2. So I come over here. When I divide out the 2, I'm left with 8r squared minus 57r plus 7. So my A has become an 8. My B has become a negative 57. And my C becomes a 7. Notice GCF comes first, and then you label your ABCs. It goes in that order. If you label this as A, you're going to get the wrong answer. So you don't do it there. You label A, B, and C with your X method step. So there's my A, B, and C. So we draw my X. We're looking for A times C and B here. And M and N will go on these sides. Okay, let's start with 8 times 7. What is 8 times 7?
56.
56, good. And B is negative 57. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to be 56, but add to be 57. I'm going to draw a little chart. Some people probably already know the answer, but I will write out the possibilities. You could have 1 times 56, 2 times 28, 3, no, 3 doesn't go into 56. 4 does, 14 times. 5 does not, 6 does not, 7 does, 8 times. That's your whole list. All right, on this list, we're now looking for a combination that gets us negative 57. Which two numbers could somehow give us a 57?
1 and 56.
Good, this is our set. That's not. So to make it negative 57, what do we need to do to the 1 and the 56?
They're both negatives.
They're both negatives, good. So a negative 1 and a negative 56. Now we have our numbers, we're done with step 2, we go to step 3. So step 3, I'm going to take the A power and split it. So it was a power of 2, I'm now going to write it as a power of 1. 8r minus 1 and 8r minus 56. Last step, bottoms up. Since my A is 8, I'm going to try to divide. Can I divide this first parenthesis by 8? Does 8 go into the first parenthesis?
No.
No, because it cannot go into 1. Can it go into the second parenthesis? Answer is yes. So our answer is going to be 2 times 8r minus 1 times r minus 7. That's your answer to number, I keep calling it number 3, I'm sorry, number 6. So on this slide right here alone, we've done the problems now for last time's lesson exam for number 2, number 4, number 6, which means you're only left after you watch those videos with number 1 and 3 to do by yourself. Let me show you this way, what I'm trying to say. I took a picture of this last class. Let me see if I can find my wife's iPad. Where's pictures? Oh, there it is, photos. All right. This one it? Okay. If you go to, let me start with the site. If you go to this site, Power School Learning, which we should have bookmarked last class, and if you did not, I'll copy this and I'll put it in the chat right now. Chat. Power School Learning. You need to make sure you bookmark this site because this is what we're going to use all year. When you go to Power School Learning, it opens up this site. From here, you're going to click on Chapter 1 Lessons. And what we just did, you're going to turn into 03. So what we just did in the bell ringer, you're going to turn in right here. We did number 2, the steps, number 4, 5, and 6 together. If you watch the videos on, I'm going to do YT on YouTube videos, I do number 7 and 8, which means for you to get 100, all you need to do is number 1 and 3. And just like that, you can get 100. But that's where you turn that in. questions over that?
If we had already did it, can we redo it?
Yes, you can redo it up to 10 times.
Okay.
Yep, so get yourself 100. Don't settle for less. All right, now, that was last class. So today's a new lesson. Today is 1-1. So what are you responsible for today? I'm about to go back to the bell ringer so you can see it, but I'm going to tell you right now what you're responsible for here in a moment. Number 1, take attendance. This is the first thing you are responsible for. I can update that. So for the people who joined late, use that chat, that link to Power School Learning, and try doing attendance that way. Specifically, so first, take attendance. Make sure your attendance is in. I can update you here in a second. Number 2, the number 2 responsibility you have today is to watch the YouTube videos for lessons 1-1. So lesson 1-1 is today. That's the second thing you're responsible for. Number 3, you have a lesson exam over those videos and the bell ringer from today. They'll go in right here. So today's bell ringer goes right here. And DOL from, and I'm gonna put YT now, because it's gonna be on those YouTube videos you watch, or where the DOLs will come from for this. And then finally, the fourth thing you're responsible for is you have an Alex assignment. Now we talked about this a few times, but I'm gonna keep mentioning it until we all know it. When will these two things be due? It's kind of hard to see. When will these be due?
Next Thursday.
There you go. It will be due Thursday. Forgot the S. There it is. Thursday of next week. Now don't fall behind, because each lesson we're going to be adding more work. But those are the 4 things I say you're responsible for today. That doesn't mean you have to have it done by today. They're due Thursday next week, but those are the 4 new things, if you will, for today: attendance, YouTube lessons, exam, and Alex. Now, I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to show you today's lesson. When I had up at the start was this screen. And just for anybody who joined late, this is the attendance link right here if you want to try to use the QR code. How you do this problem. So I mentioned at the very start, it's kind of like a teaser, is if I had this on a test, it would be multiple choice. And one of the options would say g of x equals x minus 15 over negative 19x plus 35. And the hope would be, I'm saying it's the hope, like that distractor, that a student just thinks, oh, I can cancel those out. There's my answer. But this is the wrong answer here. This would be your wrong answer. Because the way you're actually supposed to simplify these is you do the technique we've just been doing. You're supposed to come up here and ask yourself, do I have a GCF? Which for the numerator, and you just look at one piece at a time. I'm looking at the numerator. Between 2x, x, and 15, there's no GCF. So then I go to step 2. My a is 2, my b is 1, and my c is negative 15. So I'd have a times c, which is negative 30, and my b is 1. So now we're looking for these 2 numbers. So the factors of 30 are, let me switch colors, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4 doesn't go in, 5 and 6. So you ask yourself, which of these can give me 1 somehow? Which of these could add or subtract to give me 1?
Five and 6.
5 and 6, good. So those are my numbers. The way to make it 1 is you subtract 5. So it's 6 minus 5. That was step 2. And so step 3, you split the a term. So I'm splitting this term right there. Let me change colors one more time here. I want to take this and split it. So it's 2x plus 6 and 2x minus 5. And finally, step 4, we do bottoms up. And so I look, can I divide this by anything? And yes, the front parentheses can be divided by 2, and not just by anything, by the a term. The a term is 2. So I divide that by 2, and I find out I get x plus 3 times 2x minus 5. Now here's what's going to happen in this problem, is after you factor the top and bottom, you're going to have factors like this. And I don't know what factors you're going to get in the denominator. We didn't do that problem. But either this front one's going to be x plus 3, or the back one's going to be 2x minus 5 whenever you factor it. And let's just say if that's the case, you would then simplify these two out, and the answer would be x plus 3 over whatever else. And it would have a g of x. That's fine. G of x equals x plus 3 over whatever's in this parentheses. Or, like I said, it could be that this is x plus 3 and these two get canceled. And so your answer would be something like 2x minus 5 over something else. That's how you do this problem. So to finish off the bell ringer and get credit, you're going to have to do 4 more x methods. You'll have to do an x method here, an x method here, and an x method there. If you do all, I said 4 more, I'm sorry, 3 more. If you do 3 more x methods, you'll be able to get all your answers. All right, any questions for today?